you were mentioning before I came on about Will Smith. Mm-hmm. Well, he had a moment where love got lost. Mm-hmm. Something else came in. And I was glad to see him yesterday acknowledge that, return to his true self, really atone, apologize. I felt it was very sincere, but I also felt it was very important. And that's the journey. Listen, his journey.
I have to say, when you see big celebrities apologize like that a day later, I mean, let's be honest. The PR people get a hold of them and they say, this is what you're going to say. I mean, that's the truth. Even that night when he went out there and apologized moments later, he didn't apologize to Chris Rock.
He did yesterday.
I know, but that was after the PR people got a hold of him.
Well, yeah, but hold on. Wait a minute. Absolutely. And I bet his lawyers did. And I bet his agents did. Mm-hmm. And I bet some people who tell him the truth, who love him, did. Whatever gets us there. And because life told him.
See, I'm more cynical than you are, Marianne.
Pardon, what
I'm more cynical. While you were reading Course in Miracles, I was in law school. So I'm just more cynical than you are. Actually, it's not that I don't believe him. It's just that I've seen a lot to know you can't always give people the benefit of the doubt. Like, I'm sure some PR person wrote that entire statement for him and he signed off on it because he doesn't want to lose his Oscar and he realizes he upset a lot of people. And it's in his best interest now to say he's sorry to Chris Rock. But is he really sorry to Chris Rock? I don't really care. And I don't really believe that he is.
Well, I'll tell you this much. It's still good. It's still good that he did it. And it's still good for the kids to see that.
That's true. That's true. My husband and I told our children about this story yesterday morning because we figured, it was everywhere. And that was the first thing my husband was telling our children this morning is that he apologized. He apologized in writing repeatedly. He took responsibility. And you're right. There's a good lesson in it. Whether he learned it himself, time will tell. And no response from Chris Rock. Go ahead.
Well, I think it was very important because the lesson could have been, and certainly was that night, that you could physically assault someone. And if you were rich enough, powerful enough, and had a good enough excuse, that you wouldn't be held accountable. That was a very dangerous trajectory for this culture. And I'm glad that that trajectory was interrupted.
Well, I mean, there's no question that what he did on stage was a criminal act. And Chris Rock doesn't want to press charges. That wouldn't save your average person in all cases, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. And now the Academy's talking about taking away the Oscar, which I think is ridiculous.
I think that's ridiculous.
I don't think it's going to happen either. Whoopi Goldberg is apparently on the board that looks into these things, and she came out and said that's not happening. So that must just be an attempt to appease critics to put that even potentially on the line. But yeah, so now it looks like whatever he gets, they'll say, okay, that's fine, and it'll be some sort of mild censure, and we'll all move on with our lives. But thinking about it, I have to say, I do feel like we lost a little bit that night. We lost a little bit of our, I don't know, civility toward one another, the norms that we normally, observe. And I realize there's been a lot of that over the past 10 years, but I don't know. That, to me, that would have been an unthinkable act 10 years ago, even just 10 years ago on a live broadcast like the Academy Awards. And the fact that it was celebrated by some people just thought it was great. He was protecting his woman, said to me, we're etching away a little bit more each day at these norms that we once agreed to live by.
Well, that's why it's important that either he apologized and atoned or that he be held accountable. It's like with the pussy tape. Oh, that's just locker room talk. No, it's not. And the same thing with here. Oh, it's just because he was a man protecting the honor of his wife. No, that's not okay. Certain things are not okay. And we have suffered greatly as a society by being too flexible around what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. And I think holding people accountable is extremely important. But I also believe that God is merciful, and apologies and atonement and amends do matter as well.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.